Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
What if the door you closed was the one that was going to open opportunities for you that you may never have again? Welcome to A Woman's Prerogative. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and it's an absolute pleasure and honor to have you here as we explore this very interesting question. Joining me is my co-host, who is the star of the show. Let us welcome the founder of Silver Rose & Co. and a soon-to-be author. She's an expert when it comes to etiquette, and she didn't know anything about being on television, and now she's hosting 2 of her own shows. She opened the door and she ran right through. Let's welcome Amanda Holmstrom to the program. Hello.
Hello, Dr. Jacalyn. Thank you for that amazing welcome. I can't wait for today's topic. This could take us anywhere in our conversation.
Absolutely. And I just want to share, because I just alluded to this, but you had zero experience in television. And I presented you with an opportunity, and at first you were concerned, you were trepidatious, and now you are hosting 2 of your own TV shows. And so you are someone who does not let obstacles prevent them from moving forward. So I just want to give you a public recognition and a shout out.
Thank you. I do remember that meeting. It was just over a year ago. And I remember you saying, "Oh, you're going to be perfect. You're going to be on USA Global one day." And I went, "No, absolutely not. Not a chance. It'll never happen."
It's amazing. So let's just start there, because I think it's such an important story and it's a true story. So what was going through your mind at that time a year ago?
Honestly, I'm going to admit that some of it was just a complete lack of confidence. I honestly did not think I could do it. And it was a lot of fear. There's a level of fear, and I still have it. What if I say the wrong thing? What if I suddenly blank out and I cannot think of anything to say on live TV? But it's also recognizing the difference between fear and just caution as well, right? That I knew I was scared to do it, but was I scared because I was going to mess up, or was I honestly so scared of being on TV that I couldn't do it? And just realizing the difference between caution and fear. But it was real. But I worked with you, and we discussed a lot of what was scaring me. And when you asked me that last time, and I went, "Okay, I'll do it twice a month. We'll try it out." And you went, "Great, that's excellent." And then you came and went, "Oh, I've got another show for you." And I went, "Oh, no."
Well, I feel like my role, and I just was sharing this with someone, my role is to get people to open up and to grow, because we're so used to saying no to things because we don't think we're good enough. But what we do is, we all do it. I do it in my personal life. We hide behind certain pat answers like, "Oh, I don't have the time. I'm so busy." You know how much I love that word, busy, 4-letter word. Or, "I don't have the money." These are things we basically hide behind because we don't want to face the fact that we're afraid. And there's a difference, like what you just said, and I think that's really profound. There's a type of fear that literally paralyzes us from moving forward. And there's that fear where we're just about to leap off and say, wow, this is so exciting, right? It's kind of like a stepping stone for us to move forward. So it sounds like you had this last type of fear.
You know what? I think it started very much as that first one, where it was the thought of being in front of thousands, millions of people on live TV was paralyzing. Why would anyone watch me? What have I got to say to anyone? And it's taking that moment and being able to take that breath. And that's, I tell everyone that, just take a breath. Kind of find that center and go, okay, am I really scared of this, or am I scared of what could happen if I make that mistake, right? Because people can be mean. But you also have to then look at what would I feel and what would I think of myself if I don't take that opportunity? If I allowed fear or my nerves or the chance that something could go wrong stop me from doing this, what am I going to think in 5 years, in 10 years, when I look back at this and go, I had this opportunity and I let fear stop me from doing it? And that's what, and you and I discussed that quite a bit, is what would happen if I don't take this opportunity? And that was the motivator I needed, is I would regret not trying this. And we know mistakes happen. I made mistakes on the last show where for some reason I kept stumbling over what I was supposed to say and what I was planning on saying. It happens. And you do have to just pick yourself up and go, yep, I made a mistake. Let's keep going. But that last show actually taught me enough to go, you know what? I'm glad I took this opportunity. Because I didn't regret making those mistakes. It was a learning curve. But I would have regretted it more had I not taken that chance.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you for sharing that. By the way, there's no script, and Amanda has no idea what I'm going to say. Neither do I. I don't know what she's going to say. But the point that I think the topic of the show is really about, so many times we put up walls and we put up barriers because we don't feel we are worthy, or we're afraid of failing, or what if we succeed? What if it goes really well? Then what? Because if you think about it, I know for myself, I'm very structured and I'm very disciplined, and you know that about me. And so to think about having certain things in my personal life, like get into a relationship or something, that would uproot everything. Everything would change. So no, we can't have that because we are in the structure and discipline mode. But if we're always keeping the door closed, we don't know what would happen if we walk through. So what I'd like people to just think about as they watch this show, what is it that you are saying no to that could be something you look back on and say, wow, the opportunity came to me and I said no. And now I wish I had done that, because opportunities don't always come along. So Amanda, now that you have 2 TV shows and that you are sort of getting your feet wet, right? You're going to be taking the social edge. You're going to be doing it yourself in just, I think it's in a couple of weeks, right? You're going to be doing it yourself. So what have you learned since you opened the door and walked into the television world? What have you learned about yourself?
I have learned that I can do it. I have also, let's be honest, I've learned that I am still absolutely terrified, but that I can still work through that. And that when I finish an episode and we've signed off and we've said goodbye to our wonderful audience, I sit back and there's that opportunity to go, you know what? I did it. I stumbled a bit. I possibly could have fixed this area, but I did wonderful here. And I had so much fun. But it's the lesson that had I not opened that door and said, yes, let's go, and jumped in, I would never have known that I was able to accomplish what I did. What about you, Dr. Jacalyn? You've done amazing things. And you've just started a new project as well. What would happen if you hadn't taken some of those chances? I can't even imagine.
It's interesting because what you're referring to is the not-for-profit. So we have a not-for-profit, which is USA Global Voices of Humanity. And we have a board, and we've got 5 projects that we're ready to move forward with. And so now it's all about the fundraising and asking for donations and doing that. We've got the website. We're 501c3. So all the steps that I had to do to come to this point. But I could have easily said, I have enough on my plate that I don't need to do that. And I immediately, when it was presented to me by Alcini as a great idea. And so I thought about it and then reached out to people to be on the board. People who are local to New Jersey here. And I'm really excited about it. I'm a little terrified. So I've been looking for courses to take. I've been watching YouTube videos about how do you run a nonprofit. And at the same time, we have a for-profit, right? So both of them have to do with television. So there has to be a line in the sand. And so it's a lot of extra work. But I'm excited because I'm going to be learning. And it's like yesterday, I had an opportunity presented to me to teach some students from the Justine and Mutali Foundation, MBA students in Zambia, mastering the power of elevated listening. And so I had to get up at 6 a.m. and I thought, what an incredible opportunity. I get to do this. So to your point, when it comes to business, if it's in my wheelhouse, if it's something that, let's say it's a course, I'm going to Wharton, people are like, how are you doing that? Because if it's something that will help me grow personally and professionally, I don't look at the money. I say to myself, I will find the money. And I always do. Somehow I find the money. And sometimes we have to cut back, right? We have to say, well, I'm not going to do this or I'm not going to do that. And I find the time because it becomes a priority. And then I think to myself, if I didn't do this, imagine what I would have missed.
No, you know what? That is spot on. Absolutely. What would you miss? And when we looked at the topic, because as you said, none of this is scripted. So when the topic comes through to both of us, we get to look at it for the first time and go, ooh, what can we discuss on this? And one of the things that popped into my head is that sometimes a door is closed for a reason at that time, because things are not quite ready. You're not ready to take that step on what could be through that door. And it doesn't mean that door will never open again. It could mean that it is just not the right time. In 5 years, in 10 years, in 2 years, you may get the chance again that door might come up again and you might go, I'm ready for it this time, because things could have changed. You could have grown a little, you could have experienced more. But just because that door is not ready to be opened yet doesn't mean that you won't get that chance. I know I've had experience with that. Dr. Jacalyn, have you ever had that happen where it's just not the right time?
Yes, I'm sure that I have. I know I wanted to go to Wharton before, and it really wasn't good timing. But I knew someday I would be going. What I do, and I'm not saying I always did this, but I'm saying in the last 5 years, what I do is I actually clear out of my mind a place where I'm going to put this next opportunity so that I can focus on it. And I never feel like, some people will say, I don't know how I'm going to get through the day, or I've just got to get through this. I always say, I want to enjoy this. I don't actually want it to end because the journey's continuing. And that might be an unusual way to look at things, but I'm always thinking, if I can do it now, if I can make it work, if it's in alignment with where I'm going, then it makes sense. And there's also been times where things came to me that had nothing to do with what I was doing. And I thought, this is coming to me for a reason, especially if it comes to you through someone you respect or someone was referred to you. It's kind of like, wait a minute, let me take notice of this, because I don't think this is just fortuitous. I think this is happening for a reason.
And it's amazing when those opportunities come up. And you do have to decide, am I going to grab it because I was not expecting this? Or am I going to let it pass because, as what we discussed, fear? But is it fear or is it just caution? And how do you tell the difference sometimes? Or is it that it's just not the right time? Or is it that you're happy, you're comfortable, and you don't want to disrupt that? And that's okay for some.
Yeah, there it is.
As most of our viewers know who have been watching, I live internationally. My husband and I are international teachers. And had we not grabbed that door when it came to us, we would not find ourselves at the moment on the small island of Papua, Indonesia, in the middle of nowhere. Because it was a door that just presented itself out of the blue. I had never seen this door come up in any of our searches. And had we said no to this, there is a good chance that it would not have come up again. It was just one of those, and we grabbed it with both hands when it came, because of the fact that it's a chance to see something that most people will never see. And if we hadn't taken it, there is a good chance we would never have been able to come and see Papua. And I would have regretted that. And I know my husband would have regretted that. From the people we've met, I've made some wonderful friends here. The ladies group here is amazing. And I would have regretted. Not that I would have known that, but I would have missed out on seeing some beautiful landscapes and meeting some wonderful people.
You know what I think is so important about what you just shared, Amanda, is that opportunity that you and your husband decided to take. There's probably a lot of people who would like that opportunity, and that kind of opportunity might not come around again. And so if you think about it, sometimes an opportunity might resurface, maybe in a different format or a different form, but many times it could be one and done. And so I think what you just said a few minutes ago is so profound. We are so comfortable doing the same things in the same way, at the same time, with the same people, that when we actually have to step out of that, it can be terrifying. And I know myself, I've shared this, personally, I live a very isolated life. And the last few weeks, I've been intentionally pushing myself out of my own box. And it's been uncomfortable. It's been awkward. It's a lot of things, but I wouldn't change it for the world, because the experiences I've had, I mean, I'm going to Greece again. When I left Greece last year, I'm like, I'm never coming back again. And now I'm going for even longer than I was last time, because I'm teaching 2 of my classes and I'm speaking at this event. And when the opportunity came, I really did not think, because I was supposed to be going somewhere else. And I thought, this keeps coming up. I'm going to go. And so if we go with our intuition, usually our gut will tell us this makes sense. So here's the next subject I want to talk about. Why is it that you think we as humans, why do we come up with excuses? We see the opportunity. We want to take it. Is it always just fear, or is it just getting out of our routine?
I think it's both of those, to be honest. There is always going to be a healthy dose of fear. And you know what? That's a good thing. It's a safety mechanism, because it's going to make you look at the situation and actually learn about it and go, okay, should I do this? Should I not? Unless it's that paralyzing level of fear where you can't think outside the box. And at that point, it sometimes helps to bring somebody else in to discuss it with, because they can look at it in a way you can't. But I do think fear is a healthy part of that. And I can give you an example of that after, but I think the other portion of it is, you're right, it's caution, it's fear, it's not wanting to disrupt what we know. Right? It's when my husband and I first started our teaching careers, my husband had never had any thoughts of ever leaving Edmonton. We were going to stay in Edmonton. We were going to live close to our families, our parents, our siblings. Our kids would be raised with their cousins and the friend groups that you grew up with in your community. And I always knew I wanted to travel. I grew up in an expat family. My grandparents were British and often went home for visits. And I could never imagine staying in one place. So we compromised, and we ended up moving north to a Métis settlement and reserves. And that was our first, let's get out of our comfort zones. And it was a big difference. It was a very big difference. Yet my husband still could not picture leaving Canada. And I would go, oh, look, there's a job opportunity here. And oh, look, there's something in Cambodia and something here. And I would bring all these and he'd go, oh, no, that's too dangerous. We couldn't do that. And I'd be going, why? And it wasn't until a third person came in and went, oh, have you ever thought of international teaching? That my husband actually went, okay, well, tell me about it. And I'm going, really? But they discussed it, and Brian went, okay, I'm not ready to leave North America, but let's try this. And he had a job offer in both New York and Houston. And the way we look at decisions is we make pros and cons lists. And we did that, and we ended up with the job in Houston. And it started this adventure that, had he not taken that chance, and he'd let the fear and the wanting just to stay in the same, he's a homebody, so he likes things the same, we wouldn't have the experiences we'd had.
It's very true. It's very true. So I think a good question for us to think about with our audience today is, when does it make sense to say, I can't do this because I don't have the time. I can't do this because I don't have the money. I can't do this because I don't believe in myself.
Yeah. Those are big ones.
Yeah.
Very big ones.
So if we're talking about the fact that not walking through the door could mean that we're leaving this incredible opportunity behind that literally could have been life-changing. Sometimes it's just our mindset. If we could change our mindset to be more open, then more things might come to us. But we have to be receptive and open to doing them. So when do you think it is that it is appropriate to say, I'm not opening the door because I do not have any more time? Also meaning I'm not going to make any more time, right?
Absolutely.
Or, yeah, I'm not going to do this because I don't have the money, meaning I don't want to budget, right? I don't want to cut something out, or I don't want to generate more income. So when are those appropriate times? Because there are times they are.
There are. And sometimes doors are meant to stay closed at those times, but they appear to let you know there are options. And there's been times when we started out, if we had to find the money, that would have been very hard. So those opportunities, I could not have taken some of the opportunities I have now at that time. No matter what we tried, we probably could not have made it work then. But it would have given us the opportunity to go, okay, this is something I want to do later on. So if we start putting, instead of going for that coffee or that taking the kids for that donut on the weekends, let's put that money aside. And it would be slow, but it would eventually add up so that you could do that, open that door, do that thing that has come forward, that opportunity. So sometimes it takes time to get to that point. But always having that excuse it's a safety net. At least I find it's a safety net, and I have used that safety net to get out of things and to not have to do something. I will admit to that. I don't get to use that safety net as much now as I would like. I might like to. One of the things I teach in my courses is the whole confidence and learning to take those opportunities. So it would look bad if I don't. But I think you're right, Dr. Jacalyn. It's a safety net. Like I said, using money, using the fear, it's all a way of having the excuse to not have to try something that's uncomfortable.
Absolutely. Now, I can think of instances when it might be realistic if a person is in a relationship with someone. Maybe you're sharing expenses in an apartment with a roommate, and you declare that you're going to do XYZ, and the person's like, well, you better make sure you can pay your rent, because a couple of times, you barely had the money, and now you're impacting someone else. I can definitely see that. Or if you have to make if you're prioritizing things and you're not going to be able to pick your kids up from school, and you can't afford to hire someone, or your spouse or significant other can't do it, then it's kind of like, well, I don't know. If there's a solution to be had, excellent. But if there's not, then that might be something where you say, I literally physically cannot make all this happen.
And you know what? It's a time that the door is not meant to be opened yet. It doesn't mean that it won't be. And I can feel for some of the parents in those situations because I've been there. I have 4 children. When they were younger, yes, I had to be there to pick them up, to make sure homework was done. Those are not things that you cannot do. And being overseas, I'm not always allowed to work. You have to have the right visas. And you're not going to jeopardize the job by doing something you're not allowed to do. But it just means it's not time yet. Doesn't mean you can't work towards it. It just means that chance is not the right one yet.
Absolutely. And I think, just as dovetailing that, I think once we make the decision to move forward and open the door, it's kind of like, I've seen people figuratively, they open the door and then they're like, oh no, what's going on back there? They're kind of sidestepping through the door, or their heads down as they're going through the door. It's like, no, put your head up, chest out, walk through that door and say, you know what, I'm coming for you, opportunity. I'm going to just take this, as we call it in the States, take the bull by the horns, and I'm going to just run with this, so to speak. Yes. Or you realize you can't take the opportunity, so you're not still looking at the door thinking, oh, I wish, because that's not helpful either.
No, and aside of this, that when I read the title for the show, one of the things that came to mind was some doors are not meant to be opened, or we shut them for a reason. And it doesn't mean we can't open them again later, but it might. Friendships, family, sometimes a situation comes up and you have to close the doors. Because if you don't, you never know what could happen, right? Sometimes you just have to take care of yourself or your family, and if that means shutting the door, then that's something you have to do. As I've said in past episodes, I don't speak to my parents. Unfortunately, we've had fallouts, and those are not doors that can be opened again at the moment. Doesn't mean they can't be later on. I hope that they do in some ways, but it's not something that can happen now, and I've had to shut the door and walk away and say, nope, that door is not meant to be opened. Absolutely. Have you ever had a situation where you've had something, but you've had to shut that door to do something else, or to protect yourself, or to...
Absolutely. Because what happens also is when we keep the door ajar and people are stepping through, they might be tiptoeing through, right? What happens is we're opening ourselves up to be hurt, or we're in a position where we're so vulnerable that we could easily let someone take advantage of us. And so what I also think is, if you think of the metaphor of the door being closed, there's a lot of skeletons, there's a lot of potentially bad memories, there's arguments, there's whatever it is. And when you open that door, you have to face all of that. And so that all takes time. So sometimes it's better to just keep the door closed, make peace with it. This is a door I'm not going to be opening again, and then move on. But what I've also found happens is many times people, they keep going to the door. They go to the door, they see the door, and they want to open the door. So they might open it a little bit. Maybe they send a text message. Maybe they send a holiday card. They're just sort of opening the door a crack to see if the other person will, and then the other person doesn't respond, right? So at some point, you say to yourself, well, I'm not putting myself out there like this again because it's too painful. And again, we've got all these skeletons and bad memories and pain there. And if two people are not going to work on it, it doesn't make sense, in my opinion.
And it's okay to have that. And that's what people need to, it's okay to close that door until you're ready. Or if you're never ready, it's okay to leave it closed. If that's the better option for everyone involved, it is okay. It's the same in a conversation. If you're having a conversation and you've tried to change a topic because it's something that you're not comfortable talking about, or the person is just telling you off repeatedly, it is okay to go, thank you very much for talking to you, and it's okay to walk away. It is okay to close that door.
I completely agree with you, because what I found is when we're in a situation, especially when it becomes very volatile, there can be a lot of disrespect. And sitting there and just taking it, it's almost like you're in a boxing ring and the person just keeps hitting you and you don't even bother to put your hands up. You're just like, yeah, okay. And before you know it, you're knocked out or you have some serious injuries. So I agree with you. It's better to hold your ground, be respectful, etiquette and manners, and just choose not to engage. I have no comment.
Exactly. Everyone's entitled to their thoughts and opinions, but it doesn't mean that you have to take it all on yourself.
Absolutely. Amanda, what is etiquette and manners? What is the protocol for these types of situations when you are in a conversation with someone who is insulting you, or maybe they're bringing up topics that don't resonate with you and you really do not want to discuss them? What does etiquette and manners protocol suggest?
We have to respect that everyone is entitled to their own opinions. It doesn't mean that you have to agree with them, and it doesn't mean that you have to take their opinion on yourself. I would normally try and change the topic if I can. If I can't, I would try and go, you know what, now I don't think is the time to discuss this, but I'm happy to discuss it another time. What do you think of this? And if that doesn't work, you could go, be polite, because even if they're cutting you down, if they're being mean, you still don't want to come down to their level. You still want to be polite and not let them turn you into what they're doing. So if nothing has worked, you can't change the topic, you're welcome to go, I'm not comfortable talking about this. I'm going to stop at the moment, and you're okay to walk away. You've tried to do it properly. You've tried to talk to them about it. Sometimes it's not worth trying to give your opinion because they're not going to hear it. If they will, please go ahead and have that conversation. But it is okay to go, I'm not having this right now, and to walk away.
Agreed. Absolutely. And I think that that's so much more professional to do it in that way instead of confronting the person. And that's what people typically will do. It's like they had boundaries that they no longer have because their emotions started boiling up. And so now they're losing control of themselves. And so I always compare it to a fire. So the question is, will you put oxygen on the fire and help it grow? Or will you say, I'm going to take a step back because I could get burned? And so I always suggest taking a step back because when we indulge and engage, to me, that's about the ego. I've got to win this. I've got to one up them. I've got to walk away letting them know who's in charge.
And the moment you've put somebody on the defensive, they're going to come back on that defensive. And then there is no conversation to be had. At that point, you should have walked away. Honestly, it's better than the fight. It's better than, especially if you're in a crowded room, everyone sees you come back. And it's like it's like a boxing ring. And everyone will have to one up each other. Just say, thank you very much, and walk away.
Absolutely. And my final thought on this topic is if you've ever watched someone become completely unhinged, unglued, they just completely have a meltdown. And it's very hard to watch. And at the same time, you could be like, oh, my chance to pounce. Okay, they're starting to completely fall apart. This is my time to go for the jugular. No, it's not. No, it's not. Because I guarantee you, when you walk away with your head held high, the person has no one to argue with anymore because you've decided to walk away. But you don't walk away in a huff and go, you just, I choose not to discuss this. This topic is not of interest to me. Something like that.
Exactly. And you don't know what's going on. They might be the nicest person most of the time. You have no idea what's happened before they've stepped into that room.
True.
And they might not even realize what they're doing, and they're going to feel terrible after. And I'm not saying that's the case for everyone. Sometimes people are just bullies, and the moment you take away what they're picking on, they can't do it anymore.
Very
But
true.
it is being aware that something bad could have happened. They could have had a really rough morning, not realizing what they're doing. And by you walking away, it's giving them the time to go, oh my goodness, what did I just do?
Very
And
true.
giving them that moment to breathe.
Very true. And something else I just want to add to that. What I will do is when I meet with you or I meet with any of our team members, I'll just get an assessment. Hey, how are you doing right now? What's coming up for you? What's going on? I don't recommend that with strangers. I don't recommend that you walk up to someone and go, oh, having a bad day? Oh, is something wrong? Nobody really wants to hear that. If you don't have that kind of relationship, if you're working together, it's good that people know, okay, hey, I did just come from this meeting. This is how I'm feeling. And I know myself, I might have shared this, but on Friday, I think, or Wednesday, I don't remember, last week, a number of things had happened that people reached out to me and said, I need your help for this. I need your help for that. And so I had a doctor's appointment and they made me wait for 40 minutes. And by the time the doctor came in, I was like, do you realize you kept me waiting for 40 minutes, which I don't think I would have done ordinarily. I would have said it in a nicer way. And it was kind of like a standoff. And then she started defending herself and saying somebody else was late and this and that. And then the office manager came in and then so finally I just said, you know what, I'm really sorry because I've already been dealing with some things today. And you did keep me waiting for 40 minutes, which is a long time. And so I don't want to take it out on you because what I'm hearing you say is somebody showed up 40 minutes late and you had to fit them in. So engaging with strangers in that way is probably not going to make you feel the best that you possibly could. So I had the opportunity, I could have left, right? Although we know how hard it is to get doctor's appointments, at least in the States. So Amanda, what would you like to say as we look at the topic, what if the door you closed was the one? Because we looked at different aspects of this. So how can we bring it together for our audience?
I would tell people if they have that door, open it. see what's through it. And if it is something that you can do then, take a good look and know whether it is actual fear of just trying something new, or is it a caution that it's not time yet. But learn to tell the difference. And don't be afraid to step through that door and take the opportunities that it offers. Or say it's not the right time, but I want that door and I'm going to work towards it. Don't let fear stop you. Don't use it as a crutch or an excuse. Learn to beat it and take the chance that that door has.
Fantastic. I love that. Because fear, if we let fear win, ultimately it can become so debilitating that when opportunities come in the future, we're still not ready. We're never ready. It's almost like we're constantly waiting for something or someone to give us permission. And it comes down to us. It comes down to what we want. And I just was sharing this with someone, but the older I get, the more I realize how precious time is, and the more opportunities that come to me, I'm taking, because I can be dead a long time. And so while I'm here, I want to experience it in business as many things as I possibly can that make sense. Obviously, if it's completely not in alignment. But like personally, if you said to me, do you want to go bungee jumping? No, I'm sorry, not for any. I don't see how that would help me. Maybe learning to let go, right? But the thing is, you can die from bungee jumping. Like something can go. It's like people love the amusement parks and the roller coasters, and then you hear 50 people were upside down. No, I don't think so. I don't see how I'm growing from that.
No interest. I know my family would like to all go skydiving, and I just look at them and go, have fun. I'm going to find a coffee shop and I'm going to have a nice cup of tea while I'm waiting for you guys. Enjoy. No interest. That door is staying firmly shut.
And by the way, that could be another episode, but that basically ties to risk, right? What is your tolerance for risk versus what is the reward? So for me, bungee jumping, skydiving, snake hunting, I don't even know. The reward is so low. No, I don't think so. So I'm not doing it. So
nope. We're okay with that door not opening.
We can put bars up there.
All the wire, the chains, electric fence. It's not coming.
Exactly. Amanda, who is it that you can help and what exactly do you do?
Well, I am Amanda Holmstrom. I am the founder and director of Silver Rose & Co. One of the areas we're particularly focused on at the moment is working with children and schools, helping young people build social confidence and practical skills they need in everyday life. From communication and social awareness to dining skills, personal presentation, and feeling more comfortable in unfamiliar situations. Our programs can be adapted for different ages, from 3 to teens, young adults, and delivered as workshops, after-school programs, or as part of wider school programs, or bespoke ones for families and individuals. If you're interested, if you would like to contact me, please do so. You can get me through my website at silverroseco.ca, or you can find me on LinkedIn under Amanda Holmstrom. It's HOLMSTROM. You can also find Silver Rose & Co. on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Thank you for the conversation today. Dr. Jacalyn, I'm sending it back to you.
Thank you so much, Amanda. I really appreciate how you shared what you do. It was very succinct and easy to follow. And so for people out there, do you work worldwide? How does that work in terms of the people that you can assist?
I do work internationally. My Silver Rose & Co. is based in Canada, from Edmonton, Alberta, but I do travel internationally. So I work with schools and individuals around the world. So please, if you are interested, or you would like to set up a program or a conversation, reach out to me. I would love to hear from you, and there is nowhere that I won't travel to.
You heard it there. Wow. All right. There you go. Amanda, thank you so much for being here. We do have the booking link if people are interested in booking on the show. Just a disclaimer that we need to change the dates. And so I'm just going to share this. You can go to our website, which is usaglobaltv.com/book your session, and then scroll down and look for the social edge. You'll see this graphic, and then you would click, this is going to be changed within the hour, but you would click onto this, and the time zone is Eastern time. Please see that. And we leave it up to you to change it to your own time zone. Go ahead and book. And then you'll see here, been doing some demos, you see here that you can enter your details, first name, last name, email, phone number, and then please do fill out these questions. And most importantly, send your bio and your social media links to info@usaglobaltv.com so we make sure that we can focus on whatever it is that's of importance to you.
Absolutely. I'm open to having any topic, really. I love having conversations. So if you have an idea on a topic that you would like to have discussed, please send me a message, and it is something we can discuss.
Absolutely. And we're running out of time, but I do want to say this very nice person just dropped in. Hello, my name is Matt, and I live in Colorado. It is my pleasure to meet you. Thank you, Matt. I actually was just out in Colorado doing a keynote, so it's nice to have you. Thank you. We'd love for you. And anyone else who is interested in world-class education, please subscribe to our YouTube channels, USA Global TV and Radio, and Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. We have currently 34 TV show hosts from all over the world. So we'd love to have you join us. And as we close out today, we're going to hear from one of our team members, Verna Haywood from The Unstoppable Life. We'll look forward to seeing you for our next show. Coming up after this with Justin Rigliani, You as a Whole, Body, Mind, and Soul with General Greg Martin. We'll see you then. Bye. What happens when life tries to break you? When the pain is unimaginable, the losses are overwhelming, and every step forward feels impossible. There comes a moment, a choice. Will you surrender or will you rise? From breast cancer survivor to survivor of domestic abuse to inspiring thousands around the world, Verna Haywood shares a deeply personal journey of courage, healing, and transformation. This isn't just a story about surviving. It's about rediscovering your purpose, reclaiming your voice, and becoming stronger than the challenges you never asked for. Discover Unstoppable Resilience, Heal, Rise, and Reclaim Your Power by Verna Haywood. Continue the journey on The Unstoppable Life with Verna Haywood exclusively on USA Global TV and Radio.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA-Global-TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting. We're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.